Canary Cry News Talk Live. Welcome to the pre-stream. For those who are here, let's see Gazzle and Bonds with the first comment. Congratulations, Gazzle and Bonds. Now, here's the thing, folks. As usual, we need to game the system. We need to let the algorithms know the most important time to keep a video getting spread around the world, helping people find it, is within the first few minutes. Make sure to hit that thumbs up or that like button and that notification bell. Just get on it, folks, because if we can do that, we can spread the word. We appreciate it very much. Make sure to follow us in multiple locations. That includes twitch.tv/Canary Cry Radio. Now buckle in, folks. We're about to get started.
The world is getting crazier. People are acting more and more insane. The end of the world is tomorrow. There's only one thing to do when the world is falling apart. Listen to Basil and Gonz as they discuss this week's news and events through the lens of Bible prophecy.
You are listening to Canary Cry News Talk.
You're listening to Canary Cry News Talk. Today is October 14th, 2020. This is episode 255. And today, clear your beast mind. And you know me, everybody. I am your best buddy, Basil.
And this is Gonz. Welcome to the podcast where we bring you news from a couple guys that love Jesus, that love you, and we're learning how to love ourselves and especially our enemies who just hate us. They hate us, Basil. All those algos, too.
No,
you shouldn't pray for those algos.
An enemy is just a friend who hates you.
That's what I said. They hate us.
So you gotta stay positive. A stranger is just a friend you haven't met. An enemy is just a friend who hates you. So
good.
I don't know what I'm saying. I'm happy to be back. Gonz, what's been going on over in your life there?
I'm supposed to get tested now for the ronas because
what?
I had a situation where I apparently
you've been contact traced.
Yeah, I don't know what the deal is. We're buffering already, which is not a good sign. Always fun. But yes, I've been, I guess I came in contact with somebody who tested positive. And so, of course, now I have to go get tested at some point. And
got to go get your positive PCR test?
Yeah, I'm going to be asking questions for
40 cycles?
Is it 40 cycles? I thought it was 30, but yeah, something like that. I'll be asking questions and I'll say, hey, how many cycles for this PCR test? And also, I won't die. Just want to put that out there.
You won't die.
I won't die.
True.
Yeah.
Yeah, we
pretty
know
sure
that.
I won't die. But also,
you're invincible.
Well, yes, in Christ we are eternally alive. We will only face the first death, not the second death. But anyway, I'm kind of like, I think I'm going to be very angry if I test positive, because it's like a flu. It's really nothing, but the consequences might be I won't be able to be with my wife when she has the baby. You know what I mean? Like if it goes into all that stuff, then it'll turn into that. So, I'll be very upset. I'll let people know how upset I am if I do test positive and I get shut out from seeing the birth of my child, because that's really the part of the control.
Problem.
Well, yeah, but because that's really the problem here. It's not so much the virus itself. It's like, all right, yeah, sure, there's a thing kind of like the flu going around, but it's
most
the lockdown.
Likely you will not have any serious ramifications, but the serious ramification is this is horrible timing.
Horrible timing, and it's, again, no physical ramifications in terms of my health, more so like the totalitarian lockdown ramifications of the New World Order scientific dictatorship. So somebody
it's
asking,
just a matter of time.
Do I feel sick? No, I do not feel sick. I had a light headache, but I mean, that's a headache, But it has been messing with my head today.
We all have
found out the
headaches,
news.
man.
I know.
I get a headache every show.
Well, you do have a giant googly eyes that take in a lot of light, so sure it
In the
messes with your head.
VR world here, it's taken. I will say, overall, my brain has started to adapt to spending long periods of time in the VR space here. I don't know if that's for better or for worse, but it is what it is. Well, we have the entirety of the Canary Cry Commandos, the Canary Cry family. Oh, and the Canary Cry producers. Everybody will be keeping you, Gonz, not just you and your health, but the obviously the health of your family, but also we'll pray that they keep the PCR test down to the correct amount of cycles as to not pick up any false positives. A false positive would be almost worse than an actual positive at this point.
Yeah.
Because you would be being kept away from the birth of your child for nothing.
I'll just, I should have my whole jingle board on my phone or something. So if they say stuff to me, I can just instead of talk to them, I'll just play jingles at them, They're like, your test is positive. I'll be like,
son of a bee sting.
It's interesting because you are equipped with the knowledge about the PCR test. First, you can ask them oh, what kind of test is it? Is it a PCR test? And then you can ask them how many cycles they're going to do. And I don't know. Who knows if they're like, yeah, we'll run it through 40 cycles. You can just be like, well, my good friend George Washington, and you hold up a dollar bill, says you should do 27 cycles and see if that does it. You can do Abraham Lincoln if you're really feeling rich that day.
Yeah, we'll see. Yeah, either that. Well, yeah. I'll go Andrew Jackson if I have to. Be like, hey, buddy.
Don't make me.
don't make me Andrew Jackson.
Call my friend Andrew Jackson.
Yeah, George Washington isn't going to do much other than Illuminati confirmed, Here's the all-seeing eye on a piece of paper. There you go, buddy. Yeah. How about lower cycles on that test? All right. Anyway.
Make it happen. Make it so.
Yeah, we'll see. I'll keep you guys posted.
I had an exciting couple days. I spent some time helping out the community, did some charity work the past couple days.
Yeah.
And I got to say, I got really good at driving a forklift.
Ooh.
That's right. Working man Basil, old hard knuckles Basil, driving a forklift around. And it was very scary at first, but I watched a couple YouTube videos. Don't worry, and by the end, I was a pro, man.
Yeah, it's good to hear. A couple things. First off, there's a lot of Basil haters. There's less now, but there's some Basil haters out there. And, some people ask the question, is he even a Christian? That whole thing, even from
Classic.
Even from people that have met you at conferences, that's been kind of the question,
Oh.
Yeah. We know what we're talking about is the amount of community work you actually do, which is pretty significant. So people should know that. I'm not going to say more than that. Much. But yes, you are.
Yes.
You're better than I am when it comes to doing that kind of stuff.
Well, I appreciate that very much.
The second thing is, before you go on, yeah. I was getting on the freeway today, and I did see, and it just made me think of it. It wasn't a forklift, but it was one of those what are those things called? Those big scooper things with a big arm that scoops up dirt and picks it up,
like an excavator.
Yeah. And they're doing some construction around the on-ramp of a freeway. It's like a loopy-loop on-ramp. And it was on the side of the hill right above where cars go. And it was dropping. And it just looked really sketchy to me. So I'm hoping, I don't go back and I see one of those things crushing cars. But
those things are serious, man.
I know.
I have gotten, when I was a child, actually, I got to drive an excavator under the meticulous supervision of a professional. For a plan B, if this podcasting thing doesn't work out, I can put, a forklift operator experience as well as some excavator experience. Future X Mrs. Mecha Basil in the chat says forklift operation is a prerequisite for mech athletes. So this is good. I gotta let the mech racing league know that I'm a pro forklifter now.
You should be the first podcaster to podcast from a forklift. You know, one of these days, just while you're forklifting.
You know, that's me. I'm all about pushing the envelope, progressing the industry. You know, all the different crazy places that a podcast can be done.
Right, exactly.
All right. Well, that's all the fun news for today, I think. I think it's time to get in some updates. What do you say?
Let's do it.
Flippy update.
Do you want fries with that?
Did I lose you?
Cool. Did I lose you?
No. Did you not hear the jingle?
Oh my gosh. I'm sorry. My brain is totally scrambled. I forgot we're doing a Flippy update. It's time for the Flippy update, everybody. That's right. If you're new to the show, let me explain to you. Flippy is the colloquial name for the disembodied robot arms that are taking our jobs, enslaving our children, and flirting with our spouses. We use talking about Flippy as a sort of a proxy conversation to continuously explore all the new and exciting ways that robots and AI are taking over the world and will soon be our loving robotic overlords. Today, I'm coming from news.yahoo.com, and the article reads, Google reveals mineral crop inspecting robots. Dun, dun, dun. What does that mean? Well, let's read about it. Google's parent company, Alphabet, has unveiled prototype robots that can inspect. You know, one interesting thing to note here, they say Google reveals mineral crop inspecting robots, and this happens all the time in these articles, but they always start out with Google's parent company, Alphabet, has unveiled prototype robots.
Right. Well, you know,
it's they don't trust the public to know who Alphabet is.
Well, number
they
one,
have to
yes,
drop the Google name.
But also, if you're gonna do the right SEO, you know, appeal to the Google gods, you use Google instead of Alphabet.
That's a good point. Google loves reporting on itself. All right. Google's parent company, Alphabet, has unveiled prototype robots that can inspect individual plants in a field to help farmers improve crop yields. The robot buggies roll through fields on upright pillars so they can coast over plants without disturbing them. The goal is to collect huge amounts of data about how crops grow. Called Project Mineral, it is a part of Alphabet's X company, which aims to create world-changing technology from radical, quote, moonshot ideas. In a blog post, project lead Elliot Grant said, quote, we hope that better tools will enable the agricultural industry to transform how food is grown. The team says its main goal is to address the world's increasing need for food and the sustainability of growing it. But current tools do not give farmers the kinds of information they need. Oh, these farmers need more info.
Hold on, stop. Wait. Farmers have been figuring this thing out for thousands of years, but Google is going to help farmers because they just don't have enough data.
Don't worry, farmers. Google is here to teach you how to do your job. So insulting. All right. Quote, what if every single plant could be monitored and given exactly the nutrition it needed, Mr. Grant wrote. What if we could untangle the genetic and environmental drivers of crop yield? While farmers may have information about the soil content or the weather, the buggy robot was designed to see how plants were, quote, actually growing and responding to their environment, the company said. Quote continues, over the past few years, the plant buggy has trundled through strawberry fields in California and soybean fields in Illinois, gathering high-quality images of each plant and counting and classifying every berry and every bean.
This is like this is like what they want to do with humans, but they're just testing the technology on plants and fruit.
They're not happy with collecting every piece of data on every human being on Earth. Now they're like, we just need to know about every berry and every bean. Put it into the algos. All right, to finish out the article, thought bean counting was boring? Our AI models bring some color to the field with a disco vision effect that makes it easier for growers to see and count how many soybeans are growing and grooving above ground. That was a tweet by the team at X. Let's see here.
Is this the X?
It's got a little...
the X company that Elon Musk is involved with, or is this different?
No, this is not. Are you talking about SpaceX?
No,
What
no,
X
no,
are you talking about?
Or yeah, maybe. I don't know. I thought Elon Musk had X.com. Doesn't he own X.com?
I remember something about that. I don't though. What is X.com? Have you gone there?
I have not. Here, I'll check it out while you figure this out here.
Yeah. On top of being a literal bean counter, the buggy can also record information such as plant height, leaf area, and fruit size. And all that data is plugged into a machine learning system to try to spot patterns and insights useful to farmers. Ian Drew, a technology company founder and chairman and sheep farmer, said, quote, putting robots in the field makes an awful lot of sense.
It does.
Thank you, Ian Drew, for that riveting quote.
He feeds us
Checking
sheep.
for bugs. What?
Nothing. Go on.
Okay, I think we have a tiny bit of delay, which might end up being annoying, but now we'll just keep it in mind. Checking for bugs, making sure crops were picked and planted at the right time, and even picking weeds or moving fences were possibilities, he said. Quote, having robots is really efficient and effective, Mr. Drew said. Oh, thank you. Farmers are marginal most of the time. Oh, my gosh. No respect for the farmers from Mr. Drew. And so 1%, 2%, 5% efficiency is a huge gain for them. And anything that can do that for them will be taken up in the right way. But there are some downsides to all this. Data security was essential at every step, he said, because the last thing you want to do is have somebody hijack your farm. What? Okay.
Yeah.
And the question of who owned the data was important. Quote, the big data is really important, and governments will want to have a say and control over how that is used and who gets to see it because it is of national interest. Mineral said it was already working with breeders and farmers in Argentina, Canada, South Africa, and the United States, but there is no explicit timeline for or plan to release the buggy as a commercial product. Man, I am not a farmer, but I felt rage on behalf of our farmer listeners and producers about just how belittling this is. Not just the existence. I mean, I hope the product does help farmers. I think farmers should have all the help they can possibly want or need. But some of these quotes is just really, really insulting.
Yeah.
Also, the big data involved in counting every single bean and leaf and considering that a national, of national interest is just the next step in like the mega dataizing or analyzing of the physical world that inevitably will be fed into our AI robotic overlord's mainframe.
Maybe it's a good idea at this point to start pushing the personhood of robots and say you're using them as slaves on the farm field.
Oh yeah, you can't put the robots on the plantation, man.
Yeah,
that's not right.
Not good, not right. Yeah, maybe that'll be the argument.
We've fought too long, and plus, again, you work these robots too hard, there will be a revolt, and that will be the end of us. But there you go. That's the Flippy update. Flippy's getting into farming, and he's getting a little too. Well, he's getting a little bit too big for his britches there.
Yeah. I went to X.com. It's a non-secure website, and all it is a blank page with the letter X on the top left corner. Just simple coding. X. Nothing. Okay. Nothing there. So, wow. Good job, Elon. Really, really working on that website.
He parked that sucker and locked it up and walked away.
Yeah, I think his recent child has an X in his name, so maybe he was reserving it for him.
X Ash 12. whatever it was.
Right.
Yeah,
I
I
can't
forget.
remember what it is. Now.
All right, there
Okay.
you go. What do you got for us, Gonz?
A few updates here. Whoa, my jingle board switched to the other window. That was really weird. Okay, here we go.
We interrupt this broadcast to give you a brief update. By the end of this timely interruption, you will be thoroughly updated.
33 is the number of completion of the Great War.
33, the Illuminati dog whistle, is always a number we're looking for in mainstream media news. And this one, of course, Pitchfork.com, 33 musicians on why they're voting in the 2020 election. Now, this is the most misleading title because out of the 33, guess how many people said they're voting for Trump?
I would assume zero.
Zero. Absolutely zero.
Not one.
Not one.
They didn't do one.
No, there's a lot of...
Well, of course.
Yeah, there's a lot of F Trumps and F the system and a lot of that kind of stuff.
Yeah.
Tell me, I'm going to run through these real quick, Basil. Tell me if you know any of these artists or musicians, because I didn't know most of them.
Right.
Yaeji.
Nope.
Yaeji. No? Okay.
Nope.
Kamasi Washington.
Nope.
Okay. David Byrne.
Nope.
Rhiannon Giddens.
Nope.
I'll just mention it. I'll just keep going. Stop me if you know one, okay? Margot Price, Vic Mensa, Billie Eilish. Huh?
That's Billie Eilish, yes.
Yeah, Eilish. Okay, whatever. She said there's so much at stake right now after 4 years of Donald Trump. Things are so much worse and actually really scary. And then
oh my gosh, Billie Eilish with your bajillions of dollars. You must be so afraid.
Alinda Segarra, The Breeders is Kelly Deal, Arcade Fire's Will Butler. I have heard of Arcade Fire.
Yeah.
It's an old indie band. Denzel Curry.
Here, I'll save you a little bit of time. I opened up the link and I'm scrolling through. And nope, haven't heard of any of these except for Billie Eilish and the other one you just said.
Yeah. Kim Gordon, who said, we can't do anything progressively until we get rid of Trump. Devo. Devo's Mark Mothersbaugh.
Ooh.
Yeah. Beth Ditto, Public Enemy Chuck D said, come on, man.
Yeah.
Come on,
man. Hey, folks. Listen here.
Yeah. This person here, who is this? Anoni?
Yeah. No, I think we can settle on the fact that we've heard of almost none of these people. And of course, yeah, it's just a sort of, if you're an artist, if you're a creator, you can't vote for Trump. Here's 33 of your favorite strangers who will tell you why.
Yeah, and this Anoni person here mentions how a vote for Trump is an angel of retribution upon the elite. And
what?
Yeah, and at the end,
a vote for Trump is an angel of retribution against the elite?
No, upon the elite.
Upon?
Yeah.
Wait, yeah.
Yeah, so it's basically saying,
isn't that good?
No, he's basically saying that he's helping the elite.
Oh, okay. That's a weird way to put it, but whatever you say.
Yeah. And then at the very end, she, I can't tell from the picture, says, on the bright side, if we get through the rest of Trump's term without detonating a nuclear weapon, I believe we will still have something to be grateful for.
What is that? Oh, just that?
Just that.
Not doing a nuke?
Not setting off a nuke.
Oh my gosh. These people are deceived. It's
So
just brainwashing, alarmist brainwashing.
It's crazy, and yeah, so 33 musicians on why they're voting in the 2020 elections with a bunch of people I've never heard of. And no, usually with something like this in the past, you've seen a little bit more balance, just a little bit more, but there's no balance whatsoever. And of course, you got to use the 33 Illuminati dog whistle signaling along with all the Orange Man bad stuff in there.
Of course. It's the only way the spell works, Gonz.
But here's what I want to know. Is any Trump supporter who's going to vote for Trump, Are they going to see this list or whatever, and see see Margot
Change their
Price? Margot Price hates Trump. Oh man, I really should change my
No,
vote.
of course not.
So
Well,
what
and
is
that's kind of the point here. At this point, nobody's really going to be changing their mind. And so you put out a thing with 33 to tack on to the magical spell of making sure that, people go out and vote, but not to vote their conscience or vote their politics, vote for the Democratic Party.
Yeah. And I wanted to mention this as part of because I was sort of watching the Amy Coney Barrett confirmation hearings right before the show, and this has to be, and maybe the No Agenda show will address this tomorrow, but this moment has to be deliberate. There's just no way that it's not. So basically,
You're
this
talking
is
about the note.
The what?
Notepad?
No, not the notepad. So basically, all these senators are, they're questioning her or whatever. There was a good handful of Republicans that were telling her, "Hey, we're going to vote for you. You're basically what we're looking for." Blah blah blah. And so this one senator, I think it's Blumenthal, is asking a question, and I tried to stop it. Hopefully, this works. But listen to what happens here.
And from the pro-choice caucus.
Without objection.
Thank you. There are a couple of loose ends I'd like to clarify from our conversation of yesterday. First of all,
he's asking the question.
Our discussion of the Second Amendment, we both made reference to the Third Circuit and its ruling on whether or not individuals convicted of a crime could possess a firearm. And I think you cited the Third Circuit as supporting the idea that certain felons could possess firearms, if I'm not mistaken.
And I went back and checked that too. And so you're right, it was a splintered decision. And I was thinking of Judge Hardiman's opinion, which was close.
It's still going, folks. It's still going.
What's still going?
Complete shutdown of the audio.
Oh, that's what you're saying.
Yeah.
When she started answering the question, they turned off her audio?
Yep. And then there's like a room mic that comes back on. And they're trying to tell her to try to turn the mic back on.
The senator's question, the Supreme Court nominee, Judge Amy Coney Barrett, they're having some audio difficulties. I'm Harris Faulkner handling.
Blah, blah, blah. Right. Audio. There is no way that the entire audio feed just drops in that situation. I mean, it's possible, but the fact that it went dead and then they turned up a room mic, you can hear the room mic get turned up, which means that somebody at the soundboard is able to turn up another mic to try to, I mean, it's possible that a mic died, but very unusual, especially regarding the topic of the Second Amendment and guns and that kind of stuff.
Do you know what exactly she was talking about? I'm assuming they were referring to a prior judgment that she made.
Yeah,
and she was having a chance to respond to it.
Yeah, something about ex-convicts and their right to gain access to guns and
that might be interesting to look into to see exactly what her ruling was. And maybe who benefits from the mic cutting out during her answer.
Yeah, I mean, I know stuff like this happens all the time, but as a sound engineer and, just doing these things for a living, basically, highly unusual for something like that to happen, especially the way it cut out. It's like they completely shut down.
That's interesting. Is there video to that, or is it just audio?
There's video. Okay. Yeah, so people watching.
Can you tell? Is it a wired mic or wireless?
No, it's a wired mic that is on a little podium type of thing, and I think it has a mute button on the thing. So it's wired. It's not a wireless mic. It looks like a XLR condenser. Getting all technical, but yeah, it's There's the only way it would have gone out is if literally somebody at the soundboard shut it off, hit mute or something. or there was a some kind of power surge, I guess. But if there was a power surge, you'd expect to see more things go out, lights,
That's interesting.
So
I would be interested in checking out the transcript of the hearing and see if they transcribed it, see if it made it into the script, or if that also got redacted or left out. I don't know. That's
a really good point. Yeah. Somebody's saying or unplugged. Usually when mics are unplugged, you can tell. There's a little power surge sound. You'll hear it. You'll hear like a type of sound. So this one was more like I hit the mute button and everything goes silent. So anyway, just something to point out there. Just wanted to throw that in there because I was watching this beforehand, and there's always things going on, agendas that we don't know about that's playing out right before our eyes. So just thought I'd point that out for people out there. Another quick update.
Shameful generation!
This is ctvnews.ca. 11-year-old charged in Louisiana after allegedly stealing school bus, engaging in police chase. Did you hear about this, Basil?
No.
You didn't hear about this? An 11-year-old boy in Louisiana is facing multiple charges after allegedly stealing a school bus and taking it for a joyride. Police in Baton Rouge, Louisiana, allege the preteen saw the bus at an early childhood education center, figured out how to turn it on, and began driving.
Oh my gosh!
Yeah, and there's some video.
Bold move.
Yeah, bold
move, kiddo.
There's some video of just civilians filming the bus go by, and I don't think this video actually shows the whole thing, but it was flying. It's flying down the street, and it's
that's not easy to do, man. An 11-year-old could even reach the pedals. I mean, and a bus steering wheel that's bigger than his whole body.
Yeah, and I guess he swerved and tried to hit people. And then the chase lasted about a half hour before the bus crashed into a gas line and a tree in a woman's front yard, causing severe damage to the bus. He was okay. I don't think there was any injuries, so thank God nobody got hurt. But what's going on? What's going on, Basil?
It's those dang video games again.
Maybe
always making kids steal the school buses.
Is that what it is? Wow. Okay, back to more.
I have no idea. It sounds like the kid needs a whooping.
A whooping, or better parenting. I don't know. But yeah, I guess he's being tried as a juvenile.
Same thing.
Same thing.
Sorry, he's being tried as an adult.
No, as a juvenile.
Oh, okay, got it.
He's
good.
11.
He is a juvenile.
What's gonna happen if like a 11's pretty young?
Tiny little 11-year-old squirrel brain.
Yeah, 11's pretty young. I wonder what's going to happen if, 6, 7, 8-year-olds start doing stuff like this. Then we're really talking, child takeover.
Well, it sounds like the bus driver shouldn't be leaving his keys in the bus. I doubt this 11-year-old hot-wired the bus.
Yeah,
I think that there's a little bit of responsibility to the bus driver.
You never know. Or maybe he was shown some Andrew Jacksons. Hey, mister.
Come on, just let me take you for a ride.
All right, okay. Here's another quick update from a story we tackled yesterday or the day before last episode.
And so my question is very direct. Is voting by mail secure?
This is news.yahoo.com. Trump urges California GOP to continue using fake, quote-unquote, official drop boxes in spite of legal threat.
Oh, boy.
Yep. President Trump urged California Republicans to defy a state order to remove fake official ballot drop boxes after numerous top officials called them illegal. And I guess the GOP, the GOP groups said that that the quote unquote illegal ballot boxes belong to them. So they claimed it.
Yeah.
And Trump's pushing for them to keep doing it because I looked into this because I was curious. I'm like, okay, what's really going on here? What's the situation? And it's all political, man. It's all political. And I actually found the bill that they're referencing. And it's Assembly Bill number 1921, blah, blah, blah. So in it, it says this. Existing law requires that the vote by mail ballot be available to any registered voter. Under existing law, a voter who is unable to return his or her vote by mail ballot may designate his or her spouse, child, parent, grandparent, grandchild, brother, sister, or person residing in the same household as a vote by mail voter to return the vote by mail ballot, except in the case of the candidate or spouse of the candidate. Existing law prohibits the return of a voter's vote by mail ballot by one of these designees who is also a paid or volunteer worker of a general purpose committee, controlled committee, or any other group or organization, at whose behest the individual designated to return the ballot is performing a service. Here's the key line here. This bill would remove those restrictions and instead authorize the designation of any person to return a vote by mail ballot. Any person. That's what it says in the actual thing. And so I guess in the past, the Democrats have used this for ballot harvesting. And so now the Republicans said, well, they're doing it, so let's do it too. And then the Democrats are saying, oh, it's illegal. You can't do that. And so this is a interpretation of the law, battle between Democrats and Republicans in California. And so it's a little more complicated. So obviously Trump's going to say, just keep using it. Use it. We're in the new age. But they gave till the 15th to actually do something, or they're going to get sued or whatever. So we'll see what happens here in the next couple days. But
oh my gosh, this is not going to be the last time we hear about this.
No,
we've talked about it. A lot of people have talked about it. This is not going to be a cut and dry thing. We're not going to know on election day who won. We're probably not going to know a week or even 2 weeks later. I think a lot of people have the feeling this is all going to go to the courts. And this whole GOP official, unofficial voting box thing in California, we're going to be hearing about this for months.
Yeah, and if you look around historically, other nations and controversial election results in other countries, just look at that. Look at that as a model for what we might face here, which is, Trump saying like, I won, I continue to be president. And then the media saying it's not complete, it's not da-da-da. Oy, oy, oy.
It's a little bit of a back and forth. I mean, I don't buy this thing that Trump won't give it up if he loses. I don't think it's that simple. I mean, everybody's said that about every single president in my lifetime. I remember people saying that about Bush. They said it about Obama. I was too young to know if they said it about Bill Clinton. But every time that there's an election, it's always, oh, he won't give up power. He won't give up power. We're turning into a tyranny. Well, we have slowly been, the tyranny has been ramping up for sure, but I don't know. If anybody wouldn't give up power, it'd probably be Trump, but it's not as cut and dry as like, oh, Joe Biden won, so Trump, isn't giving up power or whatever. This whole thing is going to be so screwy, so complicated. There's going to be so much sort of cloak and dagger going on with these ballots. It's going to be a mess. I guess I'm not saying anything new here, but just to vent my frustration. So you're saying that the current law, technically does or does not allow for any third party to transport the ballot?
Well, it depends on how you define any person. That's what it says. The new law, the bill, would authorize the designation of any person to return a vote by mail ballot. So
it said would, though, so it's not actually passed.
No. This was the bill.
Passed?
This was the bill that was presented in 2016. I think it was passed. Approved by Governor September 29th, 2016. So, this is it was approved. So, this has been the law for the last 4 years.
So it's basically legal ballot harvesting.
Yeah, that's why the Republicans probably, or the GOP, did this.
Yeah.
I think they were trying to prove a point maybe, but either way, it was one of those strategies like, well, you guys did it, so we're going to do it, equal playing ground or whatever. And but then now the Democrats are like, well, you're breaking the law. And it's like, well, it says in the law that any person can do it. So it's a mess. Absolute mess.
Yeah.
All
right.
Yeah, it'll be fun the next few months.
Sure.
All right. One more quick update news here before we get into one of the main stories.
Welcome to Chinese News!
CNBC.com. China hands out $1.5 million of its digital currency in one of the country's biggest public tests. And so it says here, just the bullet points. Last week, the government in Shenzhen carried out a lottery to give away a total of 10 million yuan, about $1.5 million worth of the digital currency. The winners can now download a digital renminbi app to receive the digital yuan and spend it at over 3,000 merchants in a particular district of Shenzhen. The digital yuan is not a cryptocurrency like Bitcoin. Instead, it is issued and controlled by the People's Bank of China, the country's central bank. And this is very much, I think, what we might see in the United States in terms of getting stimulus money to the hands of the people quicker, things like that. So I think this is
the digital dollar.
The digital dollar.
And that's a good thing to clear up too, just real quick.
Yeah.
When we talk about the digital dollar, oftentimes maybe we'll call it a cryptocurrency. A lot of people have referred to it as a cryptocurrency. It is technically a digital currency, but it's it's not a cryptocurrency in its true form, being decentralized and not controlled. So
right.
Then that's what we're going to see with the digital dollar. Did we ever get a confirmation if that was actually going through in January?
I don't know about the confirmation, but I think I sent you the bill that was introduced in March. That
I did read through the bill.
Yeah, the Fed app, and so you basically you tie in your social security number to an app, federally commissioned app, and then based on that you can receive money from the government directly instead of waiting for a while. But the problem with that,
the post office in America.
The post office, yeah. The problem is that just as easily they can hand money to you, they can just take it away. And that's part of it. The problem with a centralized cryptocurrency is that it is controlled in one central location. There's a central point of failure, if you will, or just a central brain controlling it all instead of decentralized. Yeah, it's controlled.
I want to mention Isaiah 42:14 in the chat says it is still blockchain tech. I read through the bill and I could not find the word blockchain.
Interesting.
I'm not sure if they're going to do it on the blockchain. It seems like maybe I should pull it up again and re-look at it. But yeah, I read through the whole bill because I was interested to see how are they going to run this cryptocurrency or whatever.
Right.
I could not, they don't mention cryptocurrency. I don't even think they mention blockchain. They just call it a digital currency, which it doesn't have to be on the blockchain to be, to do this,
you don't,
to do the digital dollar thing. In fact, it would probably be better for them to not do it on the blockchain, so they can control it easier and there's less immutability and transparency, because that's certainly not what the government wants out of this.
Right. Yeah. The blockchain will allow, it's an immutable ledger, which basically, you won't be able to, or if you do reverse a transaction, it'll all be recorded.
Whereas, it's amended.
Yeah. So it's I know we get technical into the weeds a little bit here, but it's interesting to watch and to see, because you can still have blockchain and still have it be centralized.
Yeah.
It's just the mode of the ledger.
Right. Now we're just getting into tech talk. We'll save that for the Tech Talk podcast. I do want to mention again, because we have more people tuning in live here. Thanks for being here, everybody. Why don't you give a thumbs up or a like or whatever, wherever you're watching, give us a little something, give the algorithms a boost. I know there's some confusion on whether or not that helps. we're playing around with some algorithms today. So help us out. Give us that thumbs up. Share the show. Do something like that. We'll see if it does anything by the end of the show. Okay, Gonz, you want to get into our main stories?
Let's do it. And this first one.
Got hairy legs. Got hairy legs.
Cup of Joe got hairy legs. Okay, let's get a little update here with not Biden in the presidential campaign sense, but let's check on the family tree here. I'm over here on NewYorkPost.com, so take that for what you will. But the headline reads, "Smoking gun email reveals how Hunter Biden introduced Ukrainian businessman to VP dad." Hunter Biden introduced his father, then Vice President Joe Biden, to a top executive at a Ukrainian energy firm less than a year before the elder Biden pressured government officials in Ukraine into firing a prosecutor who was investigating the company, according to emails obtained by the Post. One sentence, folks. We got 4 lines, one sentence. The never-before-revealed meeting is mentioned in a message of appreciation that Vadim Pozharsky, an advisor to the board of Burisma, allegedly sent Hunter Biden on April 17, 2015, about a year after Hunter joined the Burisma board at a reported salary of up to $50,000 a month. Quote, "Dear Hunter, thank you for inviting me to D.C. and giving me an opportunity to meet your father and spent some time together. It's realty an honor and pleasure," the email reads. An earlier email from May 2014 also shows Pozharsky, I think I'm saying that right, reportedly Burisma's number 3 exec, asking Hunter for, quote, "advice on how you could use your influence on the company's behalf." The blockbuster correspondence, which flies in the face of Joe Biden's claim that he's, quote, "never spoken to my son about his overseas business dealings," is contained in a massive trove of data recovered from a laptop computer. The computer was dropped off at a repair shop in Biden's home state of Delaware in April 2019, according to the store's owner. Other material extracted from the computer includes a raunchy 12-minute video that appears to show Hunter, who's admittedly struggling with addiction problems, smoking crack while engaged in a sex act with an unidentified woman, as well as numerous other sexually explicit images. Oh my gosh. The customer who brought in the water-damaged MacBook Pro for repair never paid for the service or retrieved it or a hard drive on which its contents were stored, according to the shop owner, who said he tried repeatedly to contact the client. The shop owner couldn't positively identify the customer as Hunter Biden, but said the laptop bore a sticker from the Beau Biden Foundation, named after Hunter's late brother and former Delaware Attorney General. Photos of the Delaware federal subpoena given to the Post show that both the computer and hard drive were seized by the FBI in December. Wow. After the shop's owner says he alerted the feds to their existence. Then they've got a copy of the subpoena there. But before turning over the gear, the shop owner says he made a copy of the hard drive and later gave it to former Mayor Rudy Giuliani's lawyer, Robert Costello. I love when they refer to Mayor Rudy Giuliani's lawyer, because it's like, it's the president's lawyers all the way down. Steve Bannon, former advisor to President Trump, told the Post about the existence of the hard drive in late September, and Giuliani provided the Post with a copy of it on Sunday. Less than 8 months after Pozharsky thanked Hunter Biden for the introduction to his dad, the then vice president admittedly pressured Ukrainian President Petro Poroshenko and Prime Minister Arseniy Yatsenyuk into getting rid of Prosecutor General Viktor Shokin by threatening to withhold $1 billion U.S. loan guarantee during a December 2015 trip to Kiev. That's true. Biden admits this on tape. Quote, "I looked at them and said, I'm leaving in 6 hours. If the prosecutor is not fired, you're not getting the money." Biden infamously bragged to the Council on Foreign Relations in 2018. Well, son of a bee, he got fired. Good timing. Shokin has said that at the time of his firing in March 2016, he'd made specific plans to investigate Burisma that included interrogations and other crime investigation procedures into all members of the executive board, including Hunter Biden. Joe Biden has insisted that the U.S. wanted Shokin removed over corruption concerns, which were shared by the European Union. Meanwhile, an email dated May 12, 2014, shortly after Hunter Biden joined the Burisma board, shows Pozharskyi attempting to get him to use his political leverage to help the company. The message had the subject line "urgent issue" and was also sent to Hunter Biden's business partner, Devin Archer, who also sat on the Burisma board at the time. This article goes on and on and on. Did you have anything extra? It's kind of just going way back into the whole story, which we've covered before.
Yeah. This
was
part
there
of
anything
it
specifically you wanted to bring up?
I think the big point here is more of a confirmation on some of the rumors and stuff that was declassified or at least made public. But there's an adjacent story to this, which is that this is a pretty big bombshell story here, and what the adjacent story is CNBC.com. Facebook and Twitter make editorial decisions to limit distribution of story claiming to show smoking gun emails related to Biden and his son. So Facebook said Wednesday it decided to limit the distribution. The editorial decision to reduce the spread of the story, which provides minimal evidence, is a significant one for Facebook. The social media company has long professed to stand for freedom of speech and rejected the idea that it be an arbiter of truth. But of course, and they got this really funny, ominous Mark Zuckerberg picture. I love this shot. It just looks so like I'm so innocent. Why would you? But look so guilty. In
the New York Post article, they actually posted some of the images from the laptop, and most of them are just like selfies of Hunter looking a little scraggly there with his shirt off. He's smoking a cigarette. The next one, he's in the bathtub smoking a cigarette, just kind of lounging. Then there's one where he's sleeping. He's like in a bed with blankets pulled up around his shoulders, and he's at least acting to sleep with what looks to be a crack pipe in his mouth. Pipe. Oh my gosh. Jeez.
Oh yeah, this isn't smoking gun. Minimal evidence.
He's literal
crack pipe in his mouth.
Another interesting angle to this, or just an interesting topic, as well as while we're on the topic of this story and the way it's being reported and or not reported. Vice did an article on this that I was reading earlier today, and they mentioned, the laptop being dropped off. But then the entire article is Vice going like, this was really irresponsible of this computer repair company, letting out customers' data like this. This is really going to hurt the computer repair company industry. I can't believe that this owner would do this and betray the privacy of a client. It's like 5 or 6 paragraphs of just trying to besmirch the repair company. It's like, if the contents are found to be illegal, I'm sure the computer repair company has some sort of obligation to report it. Yeah. Not that everybody would.
I'm sure some of the documents you sign, if you ever read it, says like if there's any illegal or whatever, stuff on there.
Maybe not. Yeah, but it wouldn't surprise me. It doesn't seem out of the ordinary, especially if it's a matter of public interest. That's how a lot of of this reporting and whistleblowing and leaks get done, it may be technically illegal to share, say, like private leaked information, or whether it's from the government or from a personal, computer or something. But there are exceptions if the nature of the information is of public interest, especially in regards to politicians and their families and business deals and foreign corruption and, I don't know, something akin to treason adjacent at least.
Yeah. This quote is fantastic by Andy Stone, a spokesman for Facebook, who tweeted this. Just so if you had any doubt that all these companies are embedded, he tweeted this. Quote, while I will not, let me start over. Quote, while I will intentionally not link to the New York Post, I want to be clear that this story is eligible to be fact-checked by Facebook's third-party fact-checking partners. In the meantime, we are reducing its distribution on our platform.
Oh my gosh. Full-on Ministry of Truthiness, man. That's crazy.
That's insane. Like,
wow.
It's eligible to be fact-checked. Like, come on.
He's basically just saying, yeah, we don't like this story because we want Biden to win the election, so we're not going to let people share. We're going to censor it.
It's basically in so many words.
Wow.
That's exactly what he's saying. I mean, that is ridiculous. And
now, if let's just say, okay, we're putting on the tinfoil hats now. We're just playing around with ideas, everybody. If indeed Biden, whether it be Hunter and or Joe, are involved in some sort of treason adjacent activity, and if indeed it is true that Biden used his vice presidential power for personal gain and the personal gain of his family, Facebook intentionally censoring that information would make, I believe, there would be a case to make that Facebook would be maybe not a full-on accomplice, but some sort of party to the crime for, limiting evidence or something.
Yeah, but
that's my non-professional lawyerness.
I hear you. I don't think it's going to happen. It's
nothing will happen. But I mean, in the eyes of God, perhaps.
Yeah. Well, that's what I was going to say. Is like, can you imagine? I really, I hope that Jesus does return in our lifetime. I mean, I want to see that court, where Jesus is like pointing stuff out, and he's got his case, and he's
all truth shall come to light sometime.
Yeah, very good. So yeah, I just thought,
well, there you go. There's your little hairy legs Biden update.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know who's voting for this guy other than people that hate Trump. Not that voting for Trump is so much better, but just that this type of info is out there.
Choose
just
your
slugging.
master.
Yeah, exactly. It's a slugfest right now. It's pretty outrageous.
Yeah, it really is getting intense.
And not to be outdone,
we will launch a new age.
This is Daily Beast. So now we're jumping on the opposite end of the spectrum. Go ahead.
Real quick, Future X Mrs. Mechabasil coming in with the facts today. Accessory after the fact was the term I was looking for.
There you go. Okay, so this is dailybeast.com. Trump touts Falconer's Benghazi blood sacrifice conspiracy theory. And the Daily Beast...
What?
Yeah, the Daily Beast has this under the label "So Wicked." Oh, the Daily Beast. Okay, do you know about the Falconers?
No,
Benghazi blood. You don't know about this?
In regards to Benghazi, I don't remember anything about Falconeers.
Okay, so I'll read this article here. President Donald Trump backed a budding conspiracy theory on Tuesday that 4 Americans were killed in the 2012 Benghazi attack to cover up the blood sacrifice of Navy SEALs and the quote-unquote fact that Osama bin Laden is still alive, marking what is perhaps the president's strangest brush yet with far-right conspiracy theories. Trump's promotion of the new Benghazi conspiracy theory, which is fast gaining traction on the far right, came in the form of a retweet of a QAnon believer pushing the claim. The president's backing helped push the tweet about Benghazi above 14,000 tweets. Trump retweeted another video. Trump retweeted another video about the conspiracy theory later on Tuesday night, marking the second time he had promoted the Benghazi claims on Twitter. And I think this is the tweet. It says, Biden and Obama may have had SEAL Team 6 killed. Explosive CIF whistleblower exposes Biden's alleged role with the deaths of SEAL Team, claims to have documented proof. The bizarre theory, which is, what is that? Outre?
I don't know.
That's a weird word. Outre, yeah. Outre, even by the standards of the right's usual Benghazi claims, also alleges that Osama bin Laden's body double, rather than the terrorist mastermind himself, was killed in 2011. All those claims come from a falconer who says he uncovered secrets about Al-Qaeda, Iran, and U.S. intelligence in his work as a falconer for Middle Eastern power players.
Whoa, cool. Outre means highly unconventional, eccentric, or bizarre.
Okay, there you go. Alan Howell Parrott, the subject of a 2010 documentary about his falconry called Feathered Cocaine, has shot to new fame on the right after a video interview with him played over the weekend at the American Priority Conference, a pro-Trump event held at Trump's Miami resort. In the video, Parrott, interviewed by conservative personality Nick No, and the father of a former Navy SEAL who died in Benghazi, makes a series of bizarre claims alleging collusion between Iran, former Vice President Joe Biden, and Hillary Clinton ahead of the attack. Parrott claims that Biden cut a deal with Iran to set up bin Laden's 2011 death in Pakistan. But when Iran double-crossed the United States and switched in a bin Laden body double, in Parrott's telling, Biden and Clinton arranged for a Navy SEAL helicopter to be shot down to keep the truth about the raid from getting out. The reference to a real-world helicopter attack in Afghanistan that killed 38 people, including 25 Navy SEALs. Quote, Vice President Biden paid with the blood of SEAL Team 6, Parrott said in the video. He spent their blood like currency. Later in the video, No claimed that the Benghazi compound was attacked to cover up the fact that supposedly the missile used in the helicopter attack came from the United States. It's just so wicked, Parrott said in the video, adding that he has terabytes of evidence to prove the conspiracy theory to Trump. Ordinarily,
that's a lot of evidence.
That's a lot, yeah. Ordinarily, this latest iteration of the Benghazi conspiracy would remain confined to the wilder parts of the internet, but Trump's endorsement shot it to national prominence, fueling the bizarre allegations about blood sacrifice and bin Laden body doubles. The tweet Trump reposted linked to an article about Parrott's claims on a little-known website called DHJH Media, written by blogger Carrie Donovan, who describes herself as an ex-community organizer who writes about cultural Marxism. While Trump apparently considers the new Benghazi conspiracy credible enough to retweet to his nearly 90 million followers, even Donovan is backing away from Parrott's claims. Quote, I have no proof that the whistleblower's claims are true, Donovan tweeted on Tuesday, a few hours after Trump retweeted her story. So there you go. I mean, Trump seems to be pushing some of these ideas out there. And, you know, part of it is obviously a smear campaign against anything Biden related. But on the other hand, you know, he's privy to some information that the rest of us aren't. And I would not be surprised whatsoever if there's some level of truth to the idea of a bin Laden body double getting killed. I mean, it was weird when, you know, they tossed his body overseas or whatever it was. Like, they didn't have a body. It was the whole thing was kind of messy to begin with. So,
those theories have been floating around since the day it happened, for sure. So let me get this straight. The falconer is the whistleblower?
Source. Yeah, that's what it says in this article. I don't know the full sort of so the full thing.
Who is this guy? Is he just a guy, or is he in the government? Is he from Afghanistan?
I think
Who is this falconer?
Yeah, I think he's from, or he at least served. What did it say here in the article? Let me try to find that.
I missed it. I was trying to go back and look for it.
We got yeah.
Word search, falconer.
It was a falconer for Middle Eastern power players. So yeah, I think he was in those circles. I mean, I don't know.
Crazy gig.
I was gonna say I don't know what what kind of.
Not sure what that means.
Yeah, I don't know what that means in terms of maybe.
Why do the power players need a falcon?
Hey.
Anyways,
why are you offending other cultures, Basil? It's
I'm just curious. I want to learn. I'm here to learn. Yeah, this is very interesting. You know, this is one of those ones. Here's the thing you gotta keep in mind, and everybody here knows this, but it's what gets lost all the time when it comes to normies and trying to interact with conspiracy theories is like there are known declassified official conspiracies that have been revealed and have now become a part of history. The fact that you haven't heard about it before or that it sounds crazy does not automatically mean it's false.
Right.
You know, and what would it take for these people to I was thinking about this today, if I may just ramble for a second. We are in such a crazy situation as human beings on Earth right now because we're now in a situation where we've been, for instance, mainstream media will complain that, people don't trust authorities anymore. Nobody listens to the official experts, that kind of talk. Yet it is the mainstream media who has convinced everybody that they shouldn't trust the president of the United States. Like the basically top authority of everything in the world, more or less. Now, of course, that's hyperbole, but you get the point. So they're like complaining, you don't trust authority. Don't trust the most authoritative person in the world, but you have to trust authority. I mean, our authority, not his authority. It's like we're trained, or people are trained, to not trust a single thing that Trump says. Now, whether or not this particular theory is true or not, I have no idea. It gets a little wild. And of course, there was a lot of fishy stuff regarding Benghazi and the Osama bin Laden assassination. Both of those were highly secretive, highly fishy, and of course, if you think that they have told you everything about it, you're just being very silly. Of course, there's secrets that we'll never know, and who knows? Maybe the secret is that this falconer was, I don't know. There, I'm not sure where the claim comes from, but believe the falconer or don't, whatever.
Yeah, I hear you. I think, there's a whole epistemological crisis on who to believe, what outlets to believe, the traditional, and this is all part of the Smith-Mundt Modernization Act. It's really the I don't know, the catalyst that turned all of this into a sort of a crazed, psychotic, I don't know, psychosis for everybody type of situation here in terms of, information. But amongst that are still, true information that's being brought to light. But it's the problem with this type of thing is that it also discredits, or at least fuels skepticism for even the true information. And that's part of the whole idea from the
whatever that may be.
Yeah, whatever it may be, it doesn't matter, because if you can question everything, then you can even question true things. And so I think that there's with this sort of thing, I haven't done the deep dive in the Benghazi situation, so I don't know exactly, but
I haven't done it in a long time, at least.
It's been a while, yeah. But I would suggest that perhaps as the president of the United States has some kind of intel that would lead him to at least throw this out there as a type of
he's the
tease.
highest ranking, secret information holder in the world. Of course he has more info than us, but that's another reason why to sow distrust in what he says. Isaiah 42:14 in the chat says, Basil, your falcon envy is showing. You got me. You got me, Isaiah. I am just jealous of this falconer.
Yeah, I know. Well, not as cool as the... the other problem is anytime you try to Google any of this stuff, all you'll find is like football references. Atlanta Falcons. It's like, no, I don't want to hear about the Falcons, the football team. Yeah,
and of course, we all know that birds aren't real. Thank you, Gazel and Bonds in the chat.
Very good point.
So to summarize this story, let me summarize this. You tell me if I got it right or not. So a falconer, very high level falconer, a nobleman, a noble profession. Where would we be without the falconers? Is coming out whistleblowing, saying that Benghazi was a cover-up for some sort of botched or shadowy facts about the Osama bin Laden raid. They're connected somehow.
Right.
Okay.
Yes.
I got it.
Yep.
I understand now.
Yep.
Well, if Trump says it, I believe it. And that's all there is to it. So.
Jeez. Okay, then. You heard it here first. Red team.
Oh, no.
Basil.
Oh, no.
Basil is dropped out. Rosewater 2020 is now been reduced to Trump 4 more years.
Oh, no.
MAGA.
Oh, no. Who knows? All right. Well, you have anything else to say about this story?
No, I don't. I forgot to mention an update story, but we'll do it after the break real quick.
Okay, sounds good. Let's take a really quick break.
It's break time.
Come on, take a break, everybody. Don't go anywhere, because we are going to be covering some good stuff after the break. If you want to know, we've been really consistent with these Space Pope reptilian updates, but a big, very interesting update going on in the Catholic Church. We also have some very important surveillance and privacy news we're going to want to talk about. And then everybody's favorite, a Nephilim update at the end. So don't go anywhere. We're just going to take a couple minutes to thank some of our new Twitch followers and thank some producers of this show, 255. Gonz, short list again on the Twitch. You ready?
Ready.
Okay, I want to thank new follower T-Stash. Thank you very much, T-Stash. Then we've got Warrior 2652.
All right, Warriors.
Thank you very much. Yes, Let Freedom Ring. Thank you very much.
Let Freedom Ring.
Bella Bramo.
Bella Bramo.
All right. Next, I want to thank Camel Knees.
All right. Strong knees.
Then we have Herm Carroll.
Herm Carroll.
Last couple here, we've got Metal Lord 36.
Whoa.
Yeah. And Humanoid.
Oh, I get it.
You get it. Thank you very much to all of our new Twitch followers. We thank you. Remember, if you haven't done it yet, even if you prefer YouTube or one of those other platforms, it's really important to follow us on multiple platforms and turn on notifications. Of course, notifications going out is always difficult to get them in a timely manner, and following us on multiple platforms is the best way to guarantee you get the notification when a new episode is live. You don't want to miss it, so make sure to do that. Okay, next up, I'll take this very quick, brief moment to encourage you to hit the like. Whatever, we're trying some experiments. Thank you very much if you haven't done that. But it's time to thank some of our producers, Gonz.
Producers.
It's really good flavor you're adding there. And if you're new to the show, let me help you. Let me help you along. We are on the value for value model. You might notice we haven't done any advertising. We don't try to sell you an underwear subscription or a mattress or, I don't know, CBD oil or something. And that's because we decided long ago that advertising is pretty much Lucifer's favorite tool for corrupting the world and corrupting otherwise rich content producers. Now, I'm not saying everybody who does advertising is, a big problem, but advertising and the big data behind it itself are the big problems. Y'all saw The Social Dilemma. Y'all know what I'm talking about. You've all heard podcasters. They have, 15-minute ad reads, beginning, middle, and end in order to support themselves. And I get it, man. The temptation is real. But the problem is the very concept of advertising incentivizes people like Gonz and I and other podcasters, content producers, to consider you, dear listener, a commodity. That's right, cattle, to be loaded up and collected in mass numbers so they can be sold for the personal profit of the content producer. Now, that's not necessarily a problem for everybody, but it's a problem for us. We just didn't like the idea of that. We truly do consider all Canary Cry listeners as family. We call it the Canary Cry family. And you, even if you're new, welcome to the family, to the Canary Cry family. That's right. And instead, we go on the value for value model, which is we do the show, we do the best we can, and we do it as consistently as we can. And if you get any value out of this show or any of our shows, you have the opportunity to put value back in. And we really cannot keep the system going without the generosity and participation of our producers. That's right. If you're getting educated or entertained, or you appreciate the analysis, or maybe you're hearing some news stories for the first time, you're welcome. If you get any value out of that stuff, please consider becoming a producer. People have been jumping on board. This year has been a great year. We've switched over to the value for value model, and we couldn't be happier. So the first way that we recommend people can become a producer, I will say, Gonz, it is a little bit of a light day. So I'm gonna prepare your expectations now. But the first way to do it is to head over to patreon.com/CCNT for Canary Cry News Talk. That's patreon.com/CCNT. And I'm over here, Gonz. Let me do a little refresh. And I gotta say, keep those expectations low. No. In fact, we had one deletion. So a little sad over there on the Patreon today, but that's okay. Sometimes these days happen. It's Wednesday, and it's hard to, get the motivation to become a producer of your cast when you're in the middle of the week like this. So that makes that segment quick. Also heading over to patreon.com/Canary Cry Radio. That's right. If you don't know, that's our other show. It's an interview style show. We recommend you check it out on your favorite podcatcher. Patreon.com/Canary Cry Radio. And good news, Gonz, we do have one new producer over there, and they are producer Zane.
Woo! Thank you, Zane.
Thank you very much, Zane. You saved our hurt feelings for this week. Thank you for producer Zane. And that's it for the Patreon. Remember, folks, you can go to patreon.com/CCNT or patreon.com/Canary Cry Radio. But if you don't like Patreon, that's okay. We support you. If you don't like Patreon, you can head over to canarycryradio.com/support.
canarycryradio.com/support.
That's right. canarycryradio.com/support. We've got PayPal options. You can join up to be a monthly producer of the show. Or if commitment is not your thing, you can make a one-time producership in any amount that you would like. There's also cryptocurrency and a bunch of other fun stuff there. Gonz, who do we have coming in on the PayPal?
PayPal, we have 3 people that came in. Before I do that, are we still live on Twitch? Just checking here.
It's just, yes, for me.
All right, good. Okay.
I saw somebody got an error, but if you get that error, it's I believe they do. Yeah, Annie's saying error code #1000. You just got to reload; it'll come back.
Okay. All right. I'm trying to reload on my little phone thing here, but it's not really working. But it's okay because we're here to thank some producers for pitching in. And the first producer I'd like to thank is Tristan. Thank you, Tristan.
Thank you very much, producer Tristan.
There was I saw Tristan's support come in twice. I don't know if that was supposed to be, they were trying to do it twice. If not, let us know. But either way, thank you so much for your support, Tristan. And next we have producer Lorelei. I think that's
Lorelei.
Lorelei. $33.
You spelled it. Yes, we have a 33 producer. Thank you, Lorelei. Let me double check. I think you spelled it wrong in the document, Gonz. I think that's where we're getting hung up.
All right, you can check that real quick. And then last but not least, producer.
Yep, it's Lorelei.
Okay, producer David. Thank you, producer David, for coming in.
Thank you, David. Thank you very much.
I believe David had a note. Thank you all for your hard work and dedication. So thank you, producer David, for your pitching back in for the value for value model. And I think that's it. That's all for today. Yeah.
Light day. Total of 1, 2, 3, 4 producers. That's all right. We understand times are tough. It's the middle of the month, bills are due. But in that case, please remember, if you've been thinking about becoming a producer, if the spirit leads, please consider going over to patreon.com/CCNT or canarycryradio.com/support.
canarycryradio.com/support.
There we go. Thank you to our 4 very valuable producers. What's next, Gonz?
Well, we also accept your producership via your talent. And so we accept jingles and songs. We got a good handful of them last episode. This episode, we don't have any jingles that came in, but we do have a couple pieces of art to share.
One art, please.
Yahoo!
The first piece of art is from Ali. This is Lord of the Flies. It's a really well done rendition of VP Pence with a fly on his head.
The famous fly,
The famous fly. And the little caption, or I guess it's supposed to be a speech bubble, but this is Pence saying, quote, "If we're elected, I will help make Donut Earth a widely accepted fact." I like it. I like it.
Gonz's favorite Earth shape, the Donut Earth.
Donut Earth. And it's signed Ali, and I think it's spelled ALLIE. I think some people in the chat were having some issues with that, so she's changed her
we got
signature.
The note. We got the note. Spell Ali right. ALLIE. And don't you forget it. You're going to... we got to make sure to save all these pieces. They're going to be worth something someday.
Oh, they're saved.
And very good. And they mentioned the Canary Cry merch perch. We'll talk more about that later. But thank you very much, Ali, Gazel, and Bonds in the chat. Our most prolific, one of, if not the most prolific artists we have on the show, as well as one of, if not the youngest producer of the show. So thank you very much, Ali. Always a pleasure. And great shading on Pence here.
Yeah, very well done. Very, very. You could put this on, money. Just put that on the back of like the $35 bill, $33 bill. So thank you, producer Ali. I don't know why Pence goes on the $33 bill, but might as well.
It's perfect.
Perfect. The second and last piece of art we have is from Jay Vela, The Great Global Reset. And hard to describe all that's going on here. You got digital banks.
Can I give it a try?
Go for it. Yes.
In the usual Jay Vela fashion, we've got a collage, a mural, if you will, of all sorts of touching on all sorts of topics. In the top left-hand corner there, I believe that is the Luciferase quantum dot tattoo applicator.
Yes.
We've also got some Bitcoin there, a vaccine syringe, titled The Great Global Reset, and you've got some pointy-eared sort of demon businessmen that are controlling, people, puppets, and also moving around, riot police and things like that. We've got some representations of banks and missile launching vehicles. We've got the globe with a sinister looking robed figure and a red dragon behind them, and a little satellite just waiting to rain fire, I'm sure. We've got the Pope there with his what is that double-headed bird symbol?
It's a phoenix, the two-headed phoenix.
Is it the two-headed phoenix symbol on top there? Yes. We've got a meteor coming straight towards everything. We've got a little an infant child, both hooked in with an electronic umbilical cord and some brain wiring there, of course. We need the transhumanism getting in there. And let's see here if I can make this a little bigger. Around the banks, we've got an angel. Oh, I am trying so hard to see what that says. Can you read? Oh, what is it? To gain the world, but to lose your soul. That's right. Proclaiming the folly of the financial system there. Very good, Jay Vela. Thank you so much. Your style, your wit, the connections, all very valuable. We appreciate the art coming in.
Yes, very well done, as always. Thank you for all the producers out there.
I do want to mention, if you are listening to the podcast version of the show and not watching live, make sure to check our, we have not been posting on Instagram, Gonz, and I just realized we have so much art now that I can start posting on the Instagram. I'm going to do that. Follow us. Just search Canary Cry Radio on Instagram. But we'll also be doing a big art post on the Facebook as well later today, hopefully. So if you want to see the art, make sure to tune in to some of the social media just to take a look. Or you can go to canarycrynewstalk.com. All the art gets published with the show notes.
Yes, and a quick thank you to producer That Night Wind. She let me know that it was a she, so thank you, That Night Wind.
Oh, good to know. I'm glad I asked.
She's the one that will leave timestamps as a pinned comment. I'll pin the comment on the Face Like the Sun channel. So if you ever want to skip around and just, find the stories you want to hear, you can do that. And I'm still surprised, I pin those comments on every episode, but we inevitably still get people posting like, why would you do a 2.5 hour show? Who has time to listen to 2.5 hours of your ranting? So
you know me, Gonz. I'm not necessarily the YouTube pro like you are. Is it better to pin the comment or to put them into the the description of the video?
If I have an opportunity to do that, I will put it in the description. But I don't necessarily have access to a computer all the time at the moment. So if That Night Wind, I usually pin the comment from my phone, and I'm able to use my YouTube Studio app to just pin the comment, but I can't cut and paste stuff in there. It's a little bit harder to do with it's a little harder to open a YouTube browser or YouTube in the browser. And so I mean, in theory, that's better because then it actually creates little I don't know what they are. They're just little markers that get posted on the actual video timeline. So it's a step that I've done a couple times, but just more steps, more things that I have to do if I do that every time. So it's much easier to just pin it for now. But hopefully, as we go on here, we'll I don't know. I'm dreading the day we have to change our website and re-archive everything and. That'll be part of the process is to take all those timestamps and put it in a place that's a little bit more accessible for everybody if they want to go back and listen to things. But either way,
hard.
Thank you, That Night Wind. We really appreciate it. all your producership.
Okay, there we go. Anything else, Gonz?
Were you going to mention the Canary Cry merch perch or no?
Yeah, Canary Cry merch perch. Make sure to go there. Now that we do not run that website, so do not send us emails regarding things about it. That is run by producer Dust. Put together the merch perch. If you're looking for your Canary Cry Radio merch, you can head over there. I believe that you just pay cost on those items, so it keeps it affordable. But you're given an option to tip either Gonz and I, or you can tip the webmaster, or you can tip the artist. It's a great way to do it. Another, great reflection of how the Canary Cry family works. We're all in it together here, and we couldn't be doing it without the producers. So we thank producer Dust for running that. And as usual, I think there's some more stuff getting put together to go up on the store. So keep checking back. CanaryCryMerchPerch.com. And I do want to mention real quick the Canary Cry prayer group, the Producers. You need to get connected with them. canaryprayer@gmail.com. You can send in requests or get involved, join the team, that sort of thing. Another aspect of the Canary Nation there. And there you go. That's all I got.
Awesome. I always love it when people in the chat say something in a different language. And I think I'm seeing some Russian in there. I don't know.
Looks like Russian, yeah.
They're on to us.
Yes, we're getting our KGB infiltrators.
Russia.
Whatever was said there. Okay, you ready to come out of the break here?
Let's wake up.
Yes, it's wake up time.
Hey, yo, wake up.
Hey, yo, wake up. Real quick, I wanted to do this because I forgot to do it during the update, and then we'll get into the rest of the stories here. But this is a 4 Horsemen because it's Elon. Here we go.
The 4 Horsemen of technopolis. Anytime you see the 4 Horsemen, it's something special. Illuminatus!
Elon Musk tweeted out on the 12th of October with devil horns, the devil horn emoji. Illuminati, spelled illumin with the word naughty, like Naughty.
Yes, very clever, Elon.
And I looked up what it means, like in the Urban Dictionary. Not show appropriate.
That's always dangerous.
But I don't know why he's tweeting that. Like, which reference to Illuminati is he talking about?
I don't know. Maybe he was on mushrooms or acid again and just went nuts.
Quite possibly. Yes.
Yeah. It definitely set people off for sure.
It did.
He's a troll, man. He's just a troll.
I like this one. This is the 5th definition. If anyone decides to look it up, caution.
Don't do it.
Urban Dictionary Illuminati definition. A group of emotionally immature, narcissistic closet cases who act out on drugs and think their childish preoccupation, I'll skip that part, is highly evolved with intellect. There you go. That sounds about right.
Wow. That sounds great.
Or finding someone with a pedestrian hook or entwining of a pineal gland through social media that allows you to know they are the second last piece of your 1,000-piece puzzle. All right. Okay. Whatever that is. But okay. Elon being Elon. And
very good.
Yeah. There you go.
Good job, Elon. All right. You want me to take this story or are you here? What do you
please
think?
Take it.
Okay. Coming from MSN.com, this is mirrored from CNN, so you know it's going to be good. The article is titled, Carlo Acutis, Teenager Could Become the First Millennial Saint. Whoa. Yeah. A teenage computer genius could be on the path to sainthood after he is beatified by the Catholic Church. Carlo Acutis, who died of leukemia at the age of 15 in 2006, was beatified on Saturday in the town of Assisi, Italy. Beatification is the
He turned into Mario.
Yeah. Italy. Beatification is the penultimate step, that's second to last step, in the sainthood process, and means the candidate can be referred to as blessed, and that one miracle has been confirmed in his or her name. Another miracle is required for canonization, the formal act of declaring someone a saint. That's very interesting. You can do a miracle, but if you want to be a saint, you got to do another one. The teenager used his taste for technology to create a website that traced the history of Eucharistic miracles, which has been used by more than 10,000 parishes worldwide, the Vatican said. According to the Vatican, Acutis was religious from a young age, despite his mother having only been to Mass 3 times in her life. The Vatican announced that Acutis would be beatified following claims that he cured a Brazilian boy suffering from a rare disease through intercession. Acutis was born in London to Italian parents before the family moved to Milan, where he lived until his death, the Vatican said. Acutis, described by the Vatican as a, quote, computer genius with a love for the Eucharist, is believed to be the youngest contemporary person who has been beatified. And I think that's the end of the article. Interesting.
Yeah.
Yeah. I saw some other headlines that referred to him as teenage hacker becomes saint, and I thought he was. I thought it was going to be something else.
Yeah, I mean, it's. I feel like they've glorified his computer programmer status a little bit, because all he did was sort of create like a spreadsheet,
a website,
or like an Excel sheet that sort of documents
an index. A list of miracles that have been done, basically.
Right. And I guess it's been used by, some of the heads, leaders in the Catholic Church. So, but, there's an adjacent story to this, a little more creepy. This is from the Catholic News Agency. And this was published on the 2nd of October. Carlo Acutis raises question, what does it mean if a saint's body is incorrupt? And there's a photo here of one of the older, I guess, bodies of Saint Rita of Cassia, and photos of the soon-to-be beatified Carlo Acutis have caused some confusion online. The body of a teen computer whiz was displayed for veneration in Assisi, Italy, Thursday. In the photo, Carlo's body appeared to be preserved from the natural process of decay after his death in 2006, and some thought that he could be incorrupt. And yeah, that's really weird that they would do that. But Bishop Domenico Sorrentino of Assisi clarified October 1st that Carlo's body, which is pictured here, though intact, quote, was found in the normal state of transformation typical of a cadaveric condition. Carlo's body was arranged with dignity for its display for public veneration, and a silicon reconstruction of his face used, he said. And, this picture is like, this is what they use to display. I mean, it just looks like a kid that's asleep, to be honest with you.
Yeah. Did they say there's a silicone thing over his face?
I think, it's a silicon reconstruction of his face.
Oh, okay. Yeah, I'm not really sure that counts as being incorruptible. But
I think people are saying because they saw the picture, they didn't realize that it was a silicone thing.
Oh, okay.
So they're going,
That's
oh my gosh, he's a saint.
I see. Well, there's a couple of angles to this, Gonz, and I see some people in the chat pointing it out already. First of all, I think this is just, this is an interesting PR move, maybe to draw a younger generation to the church, to the Catholic Church. Because of course you got a bunch of young millennials and Generation Z more in particular. They're like, well, why would I care about all these old dead people? Why would I pray to all these, ancient people I'm not even sure existed? Well, don't worry, young people. Now we've got a young computer whiz that you can pray to or worship or however they do things over there. So a little bit of a PR move, get the younger crowd coming in. There's also an interesting point to be made. You know, they're really pushing this computer whiz hacker angle on this kid.
Yeah.
It kind of lines up with a little bit of the sort of techno one world religion technocracy type of thing. I mean, I can't remember if I saw this in a movie or of a TV show or a sci-fi book or something. I can't remember, but there was a representation of a far-flung future cyberpunk type thing. And people who are like transhumanists or cyborgs or hackers or something were sort of worshipped as saints. And it kind of has that like futuristic sci-fi feel.
Oh, yeah.
And yet here we are. We're doing it.
Yeah, for sure. I think that's really the angle here, which is that not just the technocracy, but this is definitely the Catholic Church publicly dipping their toe into the whole idea of technology and how it's changed and how one can be, basically put in place of some kind of ascended, saint, if you will. I mean, it's the way they define it. It's a little different how we define a saint, but very interesting how they did this. And do you see the display here, Basil, of the actual public veneration?
Yeah,
it's like it's a casket. Well, not a casket. It's like a stone type of casing, and there's like a creative window on the side of it, sort of in the shape of his body, and you can see his body in there. And so obviously, this kid died in 2006. And there's a public thing, and you see his body, and he looks like he's just some kid sleeping in there. Probably like, oh my gosh, he hasn't decayed at all. He's incorrupt.
Yeah, that's the incorruptibility. It's interesting too, because I do know that for the most part, the Catholic Church puts a lot of work and some very tedious investigation, or at least so it's been represented that way, into investigating claims of miracles.
Yeah.
And this kid's miracle was, he cured somebody of, well, I need to pull it up again, but cured somebody of something through intercession, basically meaning he prayed for somebody and
cured
they
a Brazilian
got better.
Boy suffering from a rare disease. That's as vague as it gets. The boy suffering from a rare disease was cured by intercession. Computer genius, saint.
And intercession it's one of those very kind of interesting terms, because it basically just means praying for the person.
Yeah.
But intercession kind of has not a connotation, but has a implied, at least where I come from, intercession kind of has an implied distance between you and the person. Not quite, being in the same room, laying on of hands type of thing.
Right.
I'm sure that's a little bit flexible depending on people's, tradition they come up with. But for me, that's kind of always been like a far away thing, praying from afar. And so in the investigation of if this, what is his name? Acuity? Oh, let me get it right.
Acutus.
Oh, I'm back on the Falconer article. Hold on, sorry.
Falconer.
Acutus. There we go. Just can't stay away from that Falconer. Acutus, yes. So, yeah, it makes me wonder, was that like, oh, this kid was cured from a rare disease, and we do know that Carlo Acutis prayed for him, so therefore a miracle. Or was it, were they in the same place? I don't know. I don't have the details right in front of me.
It's probably, some kind of basic thing that like wowed the old elite Vatican people there. They're like, oh, look, he emailed a kid in, where was it, Argentina?
I was going to say.
He emailed him.
Maybe he put the prayer on the blockchain, Gonz.
Oh, boo, hey.
Yeah. Anyways, yeah, I think the angle, the real interesting angle, is the beatification of a techno wizard,
a millennial.
Yes. Is he a millennial?
Yeah.
Yes, millennial saint. Yeah. So yeah, get the young people in there, elevate the status of, computer whiz. What did Hillary call the techno experts? I don't know. She had a funny name she was referring to, CIA analysts. She called them something funny. Anyways, there you go. Very interesting. We'll see. We'll see if he makes it. The problem is to become an actual saint, he needs to have 2 miracles under his belt, and he died 13 years ago.
Maybe his second miracle is his resurrection.
You know what? I wonder, and I think maybe incorruptibility does count as a second miracle. I think.
Interesting.
Yeah, very interesting development.
Yeah. Either way, it's as you said, I think it's a lot of PR, but okay, moving on. We got a couple more stories here.
Did you ever have the feeling that you were being watched?
This story from 10.medium.com. One of the creepier pieces of art there. Clear conquered U.S. airports. Now it wants to own your entire digital identity. This is kind of a longer article. I'll read some of it. I don't necessarily have to go through the whole thing here. In March, the air travel industry ground to a halt. The coronavirus pandemic was spreading, and both airlines and passengers were caught unprepared. Most of the world, including the United States, began turning away foreign visitors, not wanting to bring more of the virus past their borders. Some airplanes were turned around in midair and sent back to where they'd come from. By April, airlines and airports faced a grave reality. Nobody was flying, and revenue was plummeting. Scenes of empty airports became common in the news. At Los Angeles International Airport, the second largest in the U.S., the number of departing passengers dropped by 95% compared to the same time period in 2019, according to an internal message obtained by 10 via public record request. Airline stocks plummeted, and some cities began bailing out airport concession stands and car rental companies. For Clear, an identity verification company that serves airline passengers, the slowdown seemed like an existential threat. Clear's 5 million members pay for an annual subscription that lets them travel through security lines faster at more than 60 airports and sports arenas around the U.S. Members pay $179 a year to access kiosks where they verify their identity via iris or fingerprint scanners in order to skip long lines at security checkpoints, and anyone can sign up for the app's free tier, which grants them this preferential treatment at stadiums. Was that one sentence? Oh, okay. You know what it is? I think they forgot a period after the U.S., so I read it like it was just a continued sentence, but yeah, you got to put a second period there. Anyway, Clear's revenue from some of the airports where the company operates more than... Well, let me try that again. Clear's revenue from some of the airports where the company operates more than halved during the month of April, according to documents received by 10. It would take at least 3 months for Clear to resume generating revenue close to what it was before the pandemic. But more than 3,500 documents and emails obtained by 10 through public record requests shed light on how the company used the pandemic to pivot and help expand its business model beyond getting flyers to the front of the line. Clear's vision for its fingerprint, iris scanning, and facial recognition business goes beyond kiosks in airports or sports arenas. It wants to be a holistic identity verification platform, covering more intimate moments in our everyday lives. The company has already amassed troves of personal data on its customers, especially for Clear customers who use the service to buy concessions and enter sports stadiums. The company has even explored sharing that data with partners for marketing purposes. Ah, there you go.
Oh, boy.
There you go. The company has even, in return for cutting to the front of the line, unimpeded customers handing over vast swaths of biometric and travel data. Yeah, that's pretty crazy. At its core, Clear monetizes trust. That is the main point there. When the company verifies a person's identity, whether that be to enter an airport, a stadium, or buy a beer at the concession stand, Clear is affirming that they are who they say they are. Right now, this verification process means priority access to an airport or stadium security line as a trusted Clear member. But in the future, documents and slideshows reviewed by 10 suggest Clear plans to be the company that verifies your identity every time you have swiped a credit card. Every time you would have swiped a credit card, shown your ID at a door, or handed over a health insurance card. Karen Seidman Becker, the company CEO, has said as much, while Clear's head of public affairs, Marina Comella, answered questions over email. The company did not make Seidman Becker available for the story. Quote, "We are a platform company. Think about it like Amazon. And the humans are the product."
I don't want to think about it like Amazon. That's the worst way to think about it.
Once you register, you're tapping one click all the time, Seidman Becker said during an onstage interview at a U.S. Chamber of Commerce event last year. Quote, "Enroll once at the airport. Now you can use it at Hertz. Now you can use it at sports stadiums. Now you can use it at the Seahawks to buy a beer." I think she means Seahawks, like the football team. That is the power of a platform. Now you think about adding hotels. Now you think about rideshare. You are your credit card when you enroll. Now you can think about buying or selling.
Your credit card. Oh my gosh.
You cannot buy or sell without it. Okay. Clear wants to be, okay, that's a quote there. To that end, Clear announced a new product called Health Pass in May. It takes Clear's main identity verification service and attaches a person's health information to their profile. Why would anybody do that? Why would anybody do that? Okay. Clear has pitched the product.
Safety, Gonz.
Yeah, safety schmasty. Clear has pitched the product to businesses that it never had formal relationships with before, including the National Hockey League, restaurant firms like Founders Table, and the 9/11 Memorial and Museum, according to the company's press releases. The Health Pass pitch went to familiar clients as well. On July 7th, Clear sent an email to executives at LA International Airport, according to documents. I'm going to skip every time it says that, establishing its vision for global security during the pandemic across a 16-slide presentation. The deck was called Helping Get America Moving. Hagam. I'm just saying the HGAM. And it laid out how Clear's new product would work through self-administered health quizzes and integrations with COVID testing labs. Clear's app would allow companies to monitor the health of staff and patrons of office buildings, hotels, restaurants, hospitals, sporting events, and of course, airports. Only those who are able to prove good health would gain access to these realms of public life, with Clear's app as the arbiter. Basil, this is one of those super duper called it moments. I mean, we were saying, I mean, a lot of people were, but we were especially one to say early on in the whole pandemic thing, technology is going to rapidly increase and they're going to make it very difficult for us to go anywhere without some kind of check. And here's a little bit more. Clear was born of disaster, founded in the wake of the 9/11 attacks. Very much a problem, reaction, solution. Clear, originally known as Verified Identity Pass, rode a wave of new funding from Congress allocated to secure American airports from terrorist plots. The history isn't lost on the company. In its recent presentation on Health Pass, Clear compared coronavirus impact to the terrorist attack of 9/11. In the wake of 9/11, to help Americans feel safe and secure getting on airplanes, our trusted opt-in service is well positioned to meet the challenge of Screening 2.0. Screening 2.0.
Wow. Oh, no.
Goes on a little bit, talks a little bit more about 9/11 and the difference between what Clear is doing according to VIP. Here it is. Okay, so, but that year, okay, this is 2000. Let me just start here. VIP looked a little bit different from what Clear is today. Instead of verifying your identity with an iris or fingerprint scan, members carried a special card that they would insert at kiosks in an airport. Brill raised more than $100 million, and an estimated 200,000 people joined the VIP program by the late 2000s, according to Business Insider. At its peak in 2008, VIP operated in more than 20 airports. But that year, the company stumbled. An unencrypted company laptop containing personal information of 33,000 members. 33 alert.
Booyah.
Was stolen. Really? Was it stolen? Really? And the TSA suspended the company's ability to register new customers in airports for about 2 weeks. Oh no, 2 weeks. We can't get your information for 2 weeks. Seidman Becker now says this episode is an urban myth and that there wasn't any personal information on the laptop. Brill left the company.
Story.
Yeah, Brill left the company in March 2009, and by the end of the year, Verified Identity Pass had filed for bankruptcy. Months later, two former billion-dollar hedge fund managers, having closed their funds in the wake of the recession, bought VIP for just $6 million with a novel idea, rehabilitating the service as a luxury tech brand. The Clear program would no longer just save you time. Now, it would unlock a lifestyle. Carolyn Seidman Becker and Ken Cornick, now the company's CEO and president, respectively, changed the name of the company to Clear and registered it under a parent company called All Clear. It kind of looks like AI Clear too, depending on how you read it. I think it's All Clear. Let's see, stuff about Bush. Since its rebirth, Clear has been lauded as a quintessential business success story. Yada, yada, yada. Some more interesting art. Today, Clear operates in 35 airports in the U.S., where its kiosks scan the irises and fingerprints of customers and send them to the front of security lines. The service is billed as a luxury time saver during one of the most stressful points in a long trip. Although, have they figured out what's going to happen if everybody has Clear? Now they're standing in lines to get verified.
That's the problem, ain't it?
It works well when, the sheeple are just all waiting in regular line where you can just give them your biometric data. But I'm sure this is a progression, It'll be like, now that everybody has Clear, if you want to get to the front of the line now, stick this mark on your forehead or your right hand. And blah, 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 some more revenue sharing topics. The company has also, since 2015, I don't know if there's that much more to the story. I think we got the crux of it.
Yeah, well, we've done some reporting on Clear before, long ago. These are the ones, like I think the article mentioned, they usually put it right outside of the security area in the airport, especially big airports. And it's this little kiosk that says, "Want to skip the security line?" And of course you do. And if nobody's ever seen these things, they're pretty trippy. They're kind of a space age looking little kiosk thing, and they have little retinal scanners, and you give them your fingerprints. They basically take all of your biometric data, and I think you got to pay them some money or something, and then you get to skip the security line. So it's like, I don't know, the parallels between, giving us all your biometric data is as safe as going through security. It's got that security for data transaction that, the mind controllers have been trying to push for a long time now. But it really is there's a lot of places that, you get your fingerprints, the government does it, every all that kind of stuff. But it was really one of the first commercial retinal scanners that you could come in contact with in the public. And this was the last one I saw must have been 3 years ago, something like that. So yeah, it's serious business, man. They really lock you down there.
Yeah, it's pretty bad in terms of just the invasiveness of it all. It says here that They made a partnership with Budweiser to make the Bud Now machine. Quote, fingerprints down, checks you are over 21, and you have an authenticated payment, and it delivers you your beer in less than 20 seconds.
Oh my gosh.
And then
how convenient. How could we pass it up?
I know. C. Maxine Most. That does not sound like a real name. C, like the letter C, Maxine Most, principal analyst at Acuity Market Intelligence, which focuses on tracking the biometrics industry, says that there's a wide opportunity for Clear to become its members' digital identification card, the one place that holds all of its members' credit cards, government documents, healthcare information, and more. To pay at a convenience store would be scanning your face or fingerprint, and Clear would verify your identity and supply your credit card information, because right now there's really no competition for an identity platform that doesn't rely on a smartphone. I guess that's a really big kicker there. There's always that smartphone layer, but now you don't need it. Now it's straight to your body.
Well, and as you've noticed, probably anybody out there who has Facebook or anything like that, there's the big joke coming. I don't know. Maybe it's a joke. It's a meme, a sort of satire against people who are, keeping an eye out for tracking and surveillance and Mark of the Beast or whatever, where it'll be like, oh, people are afraid of being chipped by a vaccine or, getting some sort of tracking device implanted in them, but they already have their smartphone. So, so I'll kind of try and be smart about it. And it's interesting. I mean, iPhones have only been around for 12 years, something like that. And they're already looking for ways to put smartphone. They're like, we got the smart dialed. We got everything we need with the smartphone. Now we got to try to do it without the smartphone. And that really is the biggest concern. I mean, yeah, we're all aware of the tracking that goes on with the smartphones, but there can always be more. That's kind of a big, I don't know, deception is kind of a strong word, that not quite the word I'm looking for, but I'll call it a deception. There's kind of a deception going on that like, oh, if you have an iPhone, then they already know everything about you, and surveillance could not be worse. Trust me, folks. Flippy is going to scanning every blade of grass and every bean in a farmer's field. There can always be more surveillance. Yeah. Don't let them think that you're already, 100% locked in. There can always be more. And people trying to, make that point are they are in the brainwash club, and they're trying to create apathy in others because they're ashamed of their own apathy on the topic. That's just my personal opinion about people making that joke.
I'm seeing that,
and I've made the joke before too, but to take it seriously, there can always be more. It could always get worse.
Oh yeah. This sort of this couple paragraphs here summarizes. It looks like we're throttling again a little bit on the stream here, but hopefully we're back for those viewing live. The idea goes a step beyond Apple Pay or tap-to-pay credit cards, says Alan Good, biometrics analyst and founder of Good Intelligence. Now, we should just come up with our own Canary Cry Intelligence, It's what biometrics wonks call tokenless or naked verification, because the only thing you need to prove your identity is your face or your fingertips. That might be frivolous when talking about concession payments, but the idea scales to any kind of identification or card that you might carry around in your wallet. Seidman Becker has spoken around this idea before, and last year even predicted the end of wallets, saying in 5 to 7 years they wouldn't serve a purpose anymore. This is a quote. Quote. You are your driver's license, your credit card, your healthcare card, your building access card. Why are you whipping all these cards out?
Oh, the struggles of 2020. Having to carry cards with your important information.
This is insanity, I think. Like, I can understand, like, oh, cash will change the world. You won't have to you don't have to get your wheelbarrow and wheel around your gold when you want to. All right, fine. A little bit of cash is easier to carry around. But now it's just absurd. Why are you whipping out all these cards? I mean, what are you going to do with all these cards? And it's so inconvenient.
It's a great example of it's the frog in the boiling pot, man. It just happens slowly, baby steps. It's a slippery slope, whatever little metaphor you want to make. It's just going to continue, as we know. But it's certainly speeding up faster than I ever imagined.
Oh, it's ridiculous. And this company Clear has been quietly been building all of it. And of course, as the story states, the whole coronavirus situation allowed them to pivot, and like very conveniently.
I know, very convenient. Yeah. Allowed them to go from just being a little airport kiosk or a sporting stadium kiosk to becoming your health pass identity secured owner. Welcome to the database, folks.
Yeah, seriously. It's again, this is a long time coming. There are stories out there about people who are unable to get certain types of help, things if they don't have a social security number. As far as the government's concerned, if you don't have a social security number, you don't exist in America.
Correct.
You know what I mean? So there's already been that precedent. But it's just interesting how things have progressed so much and how companies have so much power. And the company Clear becoming, because they're sort of a first mover, they have all the advantage here and they have all it looks like the government support there. So,
yeah, I will say that has been an interesting thing to watch. There's really, there's been a lot of talk, especially from Gates and because of the whole COVID thing, about having your COVID pass or your digital health passport, and it's going to be all wrapped up in your identity and your financials and things like that. That people have, some people have been identifying, trying to connect with maybe a mark of the beast thing. The problem is all that stuff they're talking about creating, whereas Clear, this company, creepy name, by the way, is ahead of the game. They've already been collecting all this and getting people used to using their service in public spaces. They like you said, they had a great opportunity to pivot and are really well positioned to actually be the corporate partner when it comes to developing this system. No need for Gates to build anything. No need for whoever, the UN or whatever global entity you want to run this thing. They're many steps ahead.
Yep. Yeah, it's clearly the beast.
There we go. All right. Sounds
all right.
Good. Man, I am just clicking around the internet here. I've already got 2 great stories for next week. I thought about just bringing it up and extending the show now, but no, we will wait until Friday for me to bring these stories.
Perfect.
So get stoked, everybody.
Right.
Okay. Well, Gonz, I think it's time for everybody's favorite part of the show.
Nephilim update.
Decider.com, Raised by Wolves Season 2 theories that may or may not happen. Have you watched Raised by Wolves?
I tried watching the first episode. Have you watched it?
No. But I might now. Oh my
gosh. It is. Yeah, it's a type of high science fiction that we have not seen before. It's got a very, very sort of mid-century sci-fi vibe. Recently the whole trend in film production, television production has been like, not quite the high sci-fi. You're doing near future, Black Mirror. It's all like kind of relatable, all kind of, you could see it happening. Stuff like that, where it's not so out of this world that you can't really relate to it. Raised by Wolves, in my experience, was just so like flabbergastingly sci-fi that it was hard for me to get connected to it. I watched half of the first episode and had to bail.
So for some reason, I'm thinking like Dune. Was it kind of like a Dune for modern times?
Yeah. Okay. Yep. Exactly. Right, very similar to Dune, where it's like you really have it takes a lot of time to like understand what was going on in the world.
Right. Okay. So I'll get straight to the point here, but basically HBO Max's Raised by Wolves was the surprise sci-fi hit of September. A breathtaking show spirited us away to the bizarre world of Kepler 22b, where two androids named Mother and Father fought to raise a new generation of human children to be atheists. Of course, the Mithraic Church arrived in episode 1 and immediately made that challenging for them. So interesting. So it goes through here a whole bunch of the plot line and some of the theories and blah, blah, blah.
Yeah.
But the part that I wanted to get to here, Raised by Wolves is based on the Book of Enoch. One of the more popular Raised by Wolves theories on Reddit, of course Reddit, has to do with the Book of Enoch, an apocryphal text from the Old Testament. It's said to explain the origins of demons, giants, and most importantly, the Nephilim. Per original poster, the Big Leahy's own words, it's a little tinfoil hat-y, and the original poster has already edited his original theory with updates as the first season progressed. The basic gist is that Kepler 22b is the planet where human life originated, and it was, in fact, our mythic Garden of Eden. The theory goes on to suggest that the great hexagonal temple the Mithraic discover might be a prison for the fallen angel named Azazel, who is cultivating a new antichrist in the form of the false prophet Marcus. As the Big Leahy puts it, quote, we have demons, we have the dodecahedron. I suggest Azazel was once part of these Watchers described in the Book of the Watchers and was imprisoned on Kepler 22b for taking humans and making Nephilim. Now he speaks through that relic the Mithraic have taken to, and I imagine wants out. Antichrist may help with that. It's a lot, yeah, but there are some compelling parts to it, such as the idea that Kepler 22b might be the original Garden of Eden. And there's another theory that argues just that, albeit with some entirely different logic. So there you go. I mean, I guess, maybe I should check it out just to see if there's any kind of overlap with some of these mythical narratives.
Yeah, that does make me want to pick it back up again. Maybe I just tried watching it too late at night. It spooked me.
It is hard sometimes to pick up something late at night and try to watch it when your brain is already half asleep.
Right, exactly.
But there you go. Your mention of Nephilim in a much more fresh context than what we're used to.
Nephilim update. Nephilim update. Nephilim update. Gory. All right, everybody. Thanks so much for tuning in to this episode. Real quick, if you haven't done it yet, before you leave, I know people start tuning out when I start wrapping up here, but drop a like or a thumbs up or whatever you do, whatever the thing you're watching this on or listening to it on. Please do that. Help us out with those algos. And speaking of algos, if you haven't done it yet, please leave us a rating and a review. I know everybody asks you to do this, and I know it's a lot to ask, folks. I know that. But if you could, it would really help us out for a couple of reasons. A, leaving us a rating and a review. Gonz and I read all of them, so we enjoy getting feedback on the show in a little bit more organized of a matter than people sending emails or trying to watch the chat. So that's a great way to get our attention. Secondly, it really helps out with the algorithms on the podcatchers, podcast players. It helps people find the show who may not have heard about it before, tells the iTunes robots to send the show to other people. Hey, I see that you enjoy Raised by Wolves. Perhaps you'll enjoy Canary Cry Radio or Canary Cry News Talk. So please do that. If you want an easy way to do it, in your preferred search bar of choice, just search Apple Podcasts, Canary Cry News Talk, and that'll take you to where you need to go to leave a review. So thank you so very much. We will be back in just a couple of days, Friday the 16th. That's right. Make sure to put it on your calendar. Turn on notifications. Friday the 16th, sometime between noon and 3 p.m. Pacific Standard Time. Make sure to pay attention to time zones. I know it's hard, folks, but turn on notifications, get the notification. Follow us on multiple platforms. It's the only way to not miss an episode. That's right. And remember, we're gonna need we're gonna need some producers to come in by Friday. If you've been holding back, if you've been waiting, if you've just been avoiding it, I understand. But please consider becoming a producer of the show. We are only able to keep doing this schedule and this length of show, et cetera, because of the continued support of our producers. And like I like to say, it's not just me sitting here asking for money. It's an opportunity to invest in your media future. There's plenty of media out there that will gladly sell your attention and your trust for their own personal gain. We do not do that. And the only way we can continue to do it that way is if people continue to produce the show. Thank you so very much to today's producers, producer Zane, producer Tristan, producer Lorelei, and producer David. Those people are whom you should be thanking for today's show. And if you want to become a producer, if you're feeling that tug on your spirit, you can head to patreon.com/CCNT. That's patreon.com/CCNT for Canary Cry News Talk, or head on over to canarycrynewstalk.com/support.
Canary Cry Radio.com/support.
That's right. I look forward to hearing from all of our new producers on Friday the 16th. You can also produce the show in a couple of other ways. Your time, your talents, or your treasure. If you got talent, Canary's got talent. You can send in art. If you want to do show-related art, make sure to send that in. If you are a musical person, you can create a show-related song or jingle and send those to canarycryradio@gmail.com. Remember, we got the Canary Cry mixtape coming up after the show. We've got some great songs been coming in this past month or so. So please stick around for the mixtape. It's a wonderful time. Great. But the chat goes off during the mixtape. It's a really fun experience. I think most people try to log off before that, but stick around. It gets wild. Let's see. Yeah, send that all to canarycryradio@gmail.com. And lastly, y'all got friends, you got family, and they're starting to wake up, or maybe they're exploring the idea that the world and the media and the news and politics and science and sociology, all those things, they're kind of starting to figure out that something smells fishy, that the world might not be exactly what it seems. And what you can do to help them and us is just send them an episode of Canary Cry News Talk. Send them this episode, send them a different episode, whatever you like. Send it to them, have them check it out. Remember, you can, if you send them the YouTube link, there will be little little timestamps, thanks to producer That Night Wind, that they can kind of hop around and look at different topics that might interest them throughout the video. That's a great way to do it. And if you need any more instructions, here's what you do. You walk right up to them, you grab them by the cage, and then you shake it.
The end of the world occurred pretty much as we had predicted.
I want to shake things up, stir up some controversy, rattle a few cages.
Hey, stop that!
You'll never silence me. I'm the last angry man, a crusader for the little guy.
Leave the bird alone!
Never! Rattle a few cages. Rattle a few cages.
The human race will have every opportunity to improve.
And if they don't?
Ask Noah.
That's right, just ask Noah, folks. All right, remember, producership will be waiting for you on Friday. Make sure to tune in, subscribe, review, rate, all those good things. Gonz, before we take off here, any last words?
You're going down, Olstein.
You've been waging a silent war at the end of the show here.
Quietly want to take down Olstein.
Yes,
seeing Olstein topping the charts.
Reinforcing the resistance. We are the resistance. All right, everybody. Thanks for tuning in to this episode of Canary Cry News Talk. Make sure to tune in next time. Again, that's Friday the 16th. But until then, remember to think outside the cage.
Son of a bee sting.
Aliens. You can't handle the truth.
And melt those babies into candles.
We should invite fewer people to be born.
Stop this progress before it is too late.
Remember, reality is an illusion. The universe is a hologram. Buy gold. Buy!
I want to shake things up, shake things up. I want to shake things up, shake things up.
Leave the bird alone.
I want to stir up some controversy. I want to rattle a few cages. I want to rattle a few cages. I'm the last angry man. You'll never silence me. I'm the last angry man. I'm the last angry man. You'll never silence me. I'm the last angry man. A crusader for the little guy. Little guy. Little guy. Well, we'll see about that.
Whatever, Illuminati.
Fun fact, I believe it was another fun fact. Fun fact. Another fun fact.
Brings me back to my Screamo days.
Pot, that's where I started.
Light up a huge blunt.
A joint.
Give everybody
Magic mushrooms.
Smoke. The CIA, I mean, lots of intelligence agencies have tested secretly dosing communities. LSD.
Psychoactive pills should be covertly administered.
Just put me on some, I don't know.
You shot in the butt. Fluoride.
Oxytocin.
Get a chemical hug.
I did dabble, some of that robot crack. I know what it's like.
It's a lethal recipe for disaster. You need help.
If you're a pharmacist, you need to repent.
All right, weird.
In the future, humans will be confined in a people's zoo.
People, I'll keep you safe and warm in my people's zoo. I'll keep you safe and warm now in my people's zoo. You and you in my people's zoo. I'll keep the cameras on.